Hello everybody, it's Christine. Gonna do another scrapbook process video with Follow a Sketch February. So I've got the 16th here. It looks like it's by sketchsupport.com, and it's got a couple of 3x3 photos, a 5x3 photo, which theoretically, they would have taken a 6x4 and trimmed it. Some horizontal elements, a little embellishment cluster here, a little visual triangle, some flags, blah, 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 a little journaling. Now that being said, I have one picture, but then I have these little frames. So what I think I'm going to make me do, since this is a vertical photo, is turn it. That's the second one I've turned. The other thing I'll tell you is this kit is a Hip Kit Club kit from October 2022. And for me, this is a challenge because it's fall. I mean, technically you could obviously use non-theme or theme for non-theme if you want to, but it's a fall kit. And so I kind of struggle because of the fall stuff. But that being said, I did come across this picture of my daughter. This was her senior year, so this would have been like 2016 when she was doing some modeling. They did some kind of zombie shoot. But it has these pretty fall kind of colors in here, so I think that's going to be pretty. So that is what I'm going to be working with. I still have, as I just showed you, these chipboard pieces. There's a whole little font here. I don't know yet. I might use the number for the year. I do have these cool, like, golden stickers here. I might do something like Golden Memory or Stay Golden or something on that title area. And then I know I had, y'all, what did I do with it? Oh, here it is. And then there's some ephemera, and there's this little fox in here, which I do love that, although it says Autumn Dreams, I think, but I still may be able to use it. There's also, like, Good Company, so I think I can use these too. So that is my plan. So let me trim my photo up, kind of get I haven't decided on the background. Because I kind of like this, y'all. I think that looks really pretty with that gold. I think that's what I'm going to do, actually. Yep, that's probably what I'm going to do. So, yeah, let me get to cutting, and I'll come back on shortly. All right, gang, you can kind of see I've made quite a bit of progress here, and I say quite a bit. I mean, there's still quite a bit left to do, but I have, I did decide on that golden background, that like yellowy background, and then I took some of the scraps and I cut them into the little shapes that were shown on the sketch. Now, the pink plaid there, you can see wasn't quite long enough, but since the picture's going to lay on top of it, no problem. Cut it in half, spread it apart. Nobody knows the difference except you and me. And I did decide to put the picture up on foam. And so I'm going to end up doing that, and then I'll put that on top of that. And I'm really liking this. Now, I did ink the edges of everything in Vintage Photo Oxide ink. That includes the photo I matted in like a yellow plaid. And at first I was a little bit worried because I was putting yellow kind of on top of yellow, but with the ink on there, in the foam, it separates the photo enough, so it looks great. So here's where I'm looking at these chipboard frames, and at first I put that little green one right there. That's not where that stays, actually. I find another frame it's like light blue with these golden angles on it, and I decided it's better up at the top because I shouldn't say have to. The sketch showed the lower picture overlapping the bigger picture, so I wanted to overlap the frame off the picture, and I just thought the smaller picture frame worked a little better. I say picture frame, chipboard frame worked a little better over the top of the picture. So that's where I'm going to do there. I will decide looking here. I go, okay, it's up on the picture, so it's going to need a little bit of foam. So I'm going to cut this up, and I'm going to cut away in a second because you don't really need to watch me stick foam behind a chipboard frame. So I'll start it here just so you kind of see what I'm doing, and then I'm going to cut away. But that actually looks pretty good. And my plan here is to put embellishments in those squares. So now I'm pulling out these ephemera, and I'm going to just kind of pick through it. And the first thing I find is this thing that says cute and fun, and I definitely want that. I think that's adorable. I'm going to stick that in there. And I guess that's technically, I guess I end up with almost like 3 titles here, because I guess I've got the Stay Golden, the Cute and Fun, and then I'm going to end up pulling this fox right here that says Autumn Dreams. Now, I'm going to move him around just a little bit, trying him out and auditioning him in different places, but he does stay at the top in the end. Here's where I'm looking at other various different pieces of ephemera. I start with that frame up there, but then I decided against it and thought the little wreath looked better, actually. So I'm going to put the wreath up there. It does go off the edge, so I will eventually trim that off. Again, here's where I'm kind of looking at this fox and kind of trying to decide, do I want it up, down, side, whatever. And he stays at the top. And so again, I'm going back into my ephemera, and I'll end up pulling out a little stack of books with a little cup over there, and stick it in the lower right corner of that little chipboard frame. There's no, in my head, I guess I was kind of thinking books because it's school pictures, or they're not really school pictures, but she does have a schoolmate in the background. And these are like with her senior photographer, so they're kind of schoolish, but not. But I stick that down there, and then I'm going to end up finding, I don't know if I stuck that little blue flower inside that green square yet, but I'll have a little blue flower that goes in there as well. I find this little maple leaf, and it's kind of this dark blue, which I think is really pretty. And so I'm going to end up sticking him right over the top of that fox, and I think that looks really neat. I like that a lot. And then I'm kind of poking through, and I think, I need to pull these gold stickers out because I haven't used these. I will end up finding 2 more little pieces of ephemera, though, right there. That apple basket, and I'll find a little candle to stick over the wreath. Now, like I said, you can see that that wreath is kind of poking off the edge there, so I will end up trimming that back to be obviously the edge of the paper eventually. But for the moment, he's just going to hang out there. And then I'm going to get into my gold stickers, I think. Yep, this is where I decided to get them. Now, these are kind of neat. They're, I think they're like maybe laser cut. You can see through some of them. You can see they're hollow. I could totally see laying these on top of a piece of pattern paper and like cutting around. So almost like a cut file. You see how you can kind of see through the one leaf or the pumpkin or whatever that is, that squash? You can see through some of the leaves. I could totally see doing that. I don't do that here. I go ahead and just use them as is. But like I said, that could definitely be something done with these stickers. So I decided this little title here is going to be Stay Golden. And I'm trying to think. On the sketch, I think it was organized just a tad differently. I think it overlapped a picture and stuff like that. But I don't do that here because it is up on foam, the picture. So I just kind of lay this right along the side of the photo there. And I think that looks pretty. It kind of fades a little bit into the paper, but I kind of like that because then there's this shimmer that makes it stick out. So I do that, and then I'm going to go back to my sheet here, and I'll find these gold leaves. And at first I stick it down in the little green chipboard where the blue flower is, and I'll decide against that and move those leaves up to the where that says cute and fun. So ultimately I'm going to put foam behind cute and fun, the little blue flower that I've got down there, and the candle. So that's where I'm going to end up my embellishments. I'm going to end up with some foam on. So I'll tell you real quickly about the picture. So my daughter, she was a senior, and I don't really know much about the rest of the country, but in our area, everybody does, they go big or they go home when it comes to senior pictures. So you basically, you engage a photographer, and obviously the school does these pictures, the school stuff, but that's never great, at least in my opinion. So you engage a photographer. There's tons of senior photographers around here. And so I found one. I think I found him on Pinterest originally, but he was local. So engaged him to get her pictures, and they just loved her. She fell in love with modeling, if I'm honest. She just really enjoyed it. And so they asked her to do what they call them, like ambassadors or something like that. So she got other like photo shoots with them, and then she got pictures and stuff. But this one was kind of a themed one. His assistant decided they wanted like a zombie themed one, which was kind of interesting because she was able to bring a friend along who's kind of in the background there, and they put a bunch of zombie makeup on them. She was the more glammed up character. So the whole shoot, it was kind of neat though. I mean, she had like, they had to be like scary, and then she had like a shovel, and I don't know what the lady was thinking overall, but it was a neat photo shoot. And like I said, we ended up with these zombie pictures. So that's where this came from. So this was my photo of them taking the pictures, by the way. This was not their photo. I took this picture from afar while they were taking the photo shoot. So please don't judge the photographer off the quality of this photo. Okay, so I've got the golden leaves down there. I did put kind of a bigger one coming out of the fox area up there. And then now I am gluing down my wreath and my little pieces of ephemera up there. So I'm going to put my foam behind my little candle. I have to cut it off my fun foam here. Technically, y'all have a lot of options now from foam perspective. I do have my foam tape, and I have foam strips, and I have foam squares. But for some reason, I pulled out this little fun foam sheet. I guess because it was what I used to do the photograph, or the foam behind the photo. And I'm going back into my little sheet of golden stuff here. And so I'll find another little leaf, and then I'll find a little heart. I don't know if I've put the hearts down underneath that little blue flower. I may have already. I cannot remember now, but I'll put a couple like that little heart up there. And then in a minute, yeah, I haven't done it yet. I'm going to get the 16 off of the font. So you'll see me in a second scooch over there. What am I doing, y'all? I can't see it. Oh, I think the little fox needs a little bit of glue. He wasn't actually technically glued down yet. I'd stuck that maple leaf, which is adhesive, on top of it, so it wasn't falling off, but I realized the fox was technically not glued down. Okay, so I'm going to snip the wreath right here, and then I'm going to pull out my little font here and decide to put 16 with a little apostrophe because it was in 2016 that we had these pictures made. And that's going to go down there. Now, on the sketch, she also has like a little journaling. It was technically probably like a journaling card or something. But I decide, I start to, you'll see me in just a minute. I think I'll pull out a chipboard frame. So I'm thinking in my head, maybe I can use that instead. Although for the moment, I'm still working on that 16. Takes me a second. Even sped up sometimes. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm working that slow, but I don't know. Then I sit here and watch myself and I go, well, good Lord, that took forever. So here's where I kind of look at this chipboard frame and I think, okay, maybe I can pull this out as the other little like journaling spot. And so I'm kind of looking and organizing, and then I thought, no, that's not going to work. I don't really care for that. And I decided I'm just going to write right on the paper, y'all. So I'm going to grab one of my little Muji pen looking things, and I'm going to draw some lines on here. And then basically all I say on the journaling is Brooke was asked to do a zombie photo shoot for her senior photographer. She and Anjana loved it. Anjana was one of her little friends in high school who went off to college at a different little college. So I don't know if they've spoken in a while, but they were good buddies there for a little while. And so I'm just going to write that on here, and that's all I'm going to do to the layout, y'all. I don't actually end up doing any mixed media or anything. The only thing I don't really have that the sketch really did show was there was some flags coming out of on the sketch, it was in the upper left. On mine, theoretically, it would be the lower left because I've rotated it. But I did try off camera to kind of stick something down there, and I just didn't care for how it set. I felt like it off-balanced my layout. So I left it alone. So here's the slowdown. You can kind of see what I got going on there with the dimension and all that kind of stuff. Please make sure you check out everybody else following along with the Follow a Sketch February, I think is the name of it. Sorry, there's a little graphic at the beginning, guys, but I keep getting my F's messed up. Anyways, don't forget to check those out. Check out the Instagram. Don't forget to follow all the good things, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.